Hello summoners and welcome back to another Pro Guides video. My name is Saskio and today we'll be discussing counter picks to OP champions in 10.17. We'll be going over the runes, builds, and playstyles to effectively counter specific matchups. So the next time you run into one of these characters, you'll have an easy time sailing through the game. For our question of the day, which league character would be the most successful streamer and why? For me, I think that Ahri will have a big fan base because of all the exposure she has had from all her skin lines. She also seems to have great assets, like her personality, which will draw in dedicated fans to watching her content. Let us know what you think in the comments below and I look forward to reading your responses. Before we get started, make sure to visit ProGuides.com and try out our new VOD review coaching system. There, you'll be able to send in VODs and get full detailed reports that you can watch at any time. We also have live group classes from Zyrene, Mike Young, Saskio, and King Nidhogg, so make sure to take advantage of these great opportunities and join the community. With that being said, let's jump straight into the video. What a great way to start off the video not talking about Darius. Cassiopeia is an AP damage dealing character who heavily excels when characters run at her. In this case, Garen only runs at people if he wants to do damage, which makes Cassio such a great counter pick. Your ranged harass will eventually force Garen to engage, allowing you to land your Q and start kiting back with your twin fangs. Whenever you notice Garen is likely going to give up on the chase, turn and chase him instead. Identifying when you should turn is an art, so pay close attention to this in the matchup. The build usually consists of Seraph's Embrace, Liandry's, Rylai's, Rabadon's, Void Staff, and Zhonya's. Our analyst chose not to include Rod of Ages because the item takes a while to scale, and you pay for HP with Rylai's and Liandry's, which by the way synergize really well with each other because of their passives. While all of these things may sound great, there are a couple weaknesses during the early laning phase. Make sure you manage your mana very well or all in somebody to kill them on the spot. You won't do very well in this matchup if you poke Garen with a couple twin fangs and let him regenerate his HP. So find a balance between that or simply force your reset for a tier purchase and TP back to lane as if nothing happened. Oh, I almost forgot. Make sure to spam Cassio players on why they aren't buying boots. Our next counterpick for top lane is going to be Urgot into Camille. Your ability to clear waves and find cheesy kills will make it hard for Camille to lane early on. Notice how we do press the attack instead of conquer, because this rune will give you a significant damage boost since skirmishes in this matchup won't last as long for conquer to matter. A big note on this matchup is who wins the Urgot E and Camille E collision. It's like an unstoppable force and an immovable object colliding. Well, maybe not that far, but Camille E does win out if both sides collide at the same time. While this may make it seem like Urgot does not win out on the matchup, he still does. Urgot excels when characters run into him, so as long as you either catch Camille before her second part of the hookshot, or simply dash away, you will always win the trade that happens after. For your build, look to grab Black Cleaver, Ninja Tapai, Bramble Vest, Death Dance, Executioner's Calling, and Frozen Mallet. Your main objective is to shred Camille while giving her limited options when it comes to trades. Our main tips are to poke her with your passive and Q to scare her from going in. When she decides to go in, reposition away from her and take the fights once she jumps in. You will always win with your immediate poke from press the attack and passive auto attacks. Just make sure to yell wildly when you shred her with your ultimate. The jungle position is making an interesting shift with these champions finding more play. Hecarim and Kayn have been taking over the rift, so we got a couple hot picks for you. Huge disclaimer for jungle. Jungle is all about lane priority. This assumes both junglers are inside a vacuum fighting each other. Let's be honest, Hecarim is literally running around the rift and demolishing all of your teammates. The counters we are presenting today is Kayn. Kayn is a champion that doesn't excel in the early game, but he has the tools needed to get his stacks to transform. Your main objective is to fight melee characters early on to stack Red Kayn to reach your spike faster. Don't be afraid to fight Hecarim for this since most of his damage is in his initial burst, so you can skirmish him for a couple seconds and run away with your E. The real kicker comes in once you're able to transform into Red Kayn, since now you'll be able to easily land your knockup and fight the Hecarim with all your sustain. For your build, grab Tiamat, Blue Smite Warrior, Merc or Ninja Tabais, Death Dance, Spirit Visage, Sterix Gauge, and finish Tiamat into Ravenous Hydra. Kayn will have a small learning curve, but once you get him down, he'll be one of the most rewarding characters to play with his insane late game teamfighting. During late game teamfights, if you ever miss your knockup on Hecarim while he is running in, instead, Blue Smite him and instantly ult inside him to avoid his damage. From there, pop out and start going ham on the enemy team with all your sustain. Just make sure to post that pentakill in our Pro Guides Discord below once you get it. When dealing with Vi, you want a champion that can get up close and personal to match the damage. Trundle has this at all stages of the game, so you will never lose if you find Vi. If you ever stumble upon Vi early game, focus on cancelling her Q with your pillar and run up to her to fight her. Keep in mind, her Q cooldown will reset and be up in 3 seconds. Try to time your Q with when Vi is likely to Q so that you can reduce her attack damage, making you win out on the trade. From there, control the map and Vi will always run in fear of losing the 1v1. For your build, look to grab Tiamat, Merc or Ninja Tab Eyes, Red Smite Cinderhulk, Stoneplate, Visage, and Frozen Heart. You can shift your build depending on the game after you get Cinderhulk, so make sure to adapt properly since our build won't always be good depending on the enemy composition. From there, during teamfights, look to soak up Vi's engagement and tank all the damage the enemy team is doing in the front lines. Your team will usually kill Vi almost immediately because she's so squishy, making your champion the perfect counter pick. Yone is tough to deal with because of his damage output and ability to run back to his original position. So taking Zed and matching his damage while also ensuring you don't die is the way to go in this case. Abuse your range poke and ability to farm to reach level 6 safely. From here, trade aggressively and ult onto Yone when he tries to fight back. Make sure to land your shurikens and profit as you show Yone who the true, nothing personal kid, line belongs to. Start off with a Ghost Blade, into Tabi, Black Cleaver, Executioner's Culling, Death Dance, and Guardian Angel. A quick note we want to point out is taking Presence of Mind could work on Zed, but we recommend Triumph because you never know what may happen in skirmishes, and getting the extra health could be the difference maker. Try to avoid Yone when he's on his third Q, because he will win the trades if he plays aggressively. As long as you play smart and gain the lead, Yone will respect you, allowing you to shove the lane and roam. Make sure to split push during mid and late game since this will force Yone away from his team, making him less useful, giving your team a massive advantage for a 4v4 teamfight. If you want to master the art of split pushing on Zed, make sure to visit ProGuides.com and get a challenger tier coach to teach you the ins and outs of this strategy. Fizz has some of the strongest all-ins in mid lane, so we wanted the pick that can shut him down and soak up the damage. Set can challenge Fizz during the laning phase and outduel him, especially once he reaches level 6. Focus on pushing the minion waves and trading with Fizz when he tries to go in. There is no specific trading pattern, but make sure you land Facebreaker before Fizz jumps in the air or after he lands. The main reason you will always win is Fizz's damage will charge up your Haymaker to massively chunk him when he starts to disengage. Your build is really open, but look to grab Blade of the Ruined King, Merc Treads, Trinity Force, Maw, Dead Man's Plate, and Stone Plate. Make sure to adapt to your game and build accordingly because Black Cleaver could sometimes be better to shred your opponents quicker. Set's a niche mid laner, so here are a couple tips to win out on the matchup. Make sure to abuse your phase rush to win trades harder because you can chase him when Fizz tries to run away. Lastly, if Fizz ever lands a shark, use your ultimate to dodge the CC. While you'll still take damage from the shark, at least you didn't get knocked up in that time and dove directly into the enemy team to pop off. Countering Kai'Sa and Ashe. Similar to the jungle, there's a huge disclaimer. AD carries will never run at each other and fight in a 1v1, most of the time. The point of these counter picks is to find opportunities to win small trades and build up advantages, eventually leading to an outscale opportunity. A lot of AD carry matchups are heavily influenced by the support, since supports dictate the pace of bottom lane. Kai'Sa has solidified herself as a stable pick in the bottom lane as an AD carry that can build both AD and AP. She has relatively short range, so picking a long range AD carry like Kog'Maw will make laning phase a breeze. While your immediate reaction to Kog'Maw is to think of him as a hard late game scaling AD carry, he actually has many tools to abuse short range matchups early on. Most notably in his W, also known as Bio Arcane Barrage. This will give him massive range which scales with the ability level. Use this ability to attack Kai'Sa and run her down, only kiting when she gets frustrated and tries to turn. You can essentially output free auto attacks without Kai'Sa touching you once, making this a great counter pick. Look to build Blade, Berserker Greaves, Rage Blade, Runons, Death Dance, and Mercurial Scimitar. This matchup is very complex since you need to understand when Kai'Sa wants to try to chase you or run away. Make sure to experiment and maybe ask your support to play Lulu to make you a machine gun that runs down the enemy. This is not going to be your traditional AD carry counter pick, but rather a Yasuo pick. Your insane gap closer and wind wall to essentially make Ashe useless is why this pick destroys Ashe. Let Ashe push you in early on and reach level 2 or 3. From there, set up your tornado and run her down in the lane. Ashe doesn't have many escape tools, so make sure to win well her W or arrow and profit as you win all the all-ins. Your build should include Phantom Dancer, Berserker Greaves, Infinity Edge, Death Dance, Mercurial Scimitar, and Mortal Reminder. Try to get an equally aggressive all-in support like Leona or Alistar and make the lane a breeze. We here at Pro Guides are taking one step at a time to make Yasuo great again, since Yone is the front runner right now on Duelers. Just keep in mind, support counter picks do not imply you'll be 1v1ing your opponent to the death, but rather how they interact and what counter matchups can do to shut down the opponent. To beat Lulu, you're going to want to select Xerath. You can constantly harass at long ranges and make Lulu not want to play the laning phase ever again. You want to build Spell Thieves, Sorceres, Luden's Echo, Rabadons, Zhonya's, and Void's Death. Make sure to never enter Lulu's range and harass her from the brushes where the enemy cannot see you wind up abilities. Recharge your mana by auto-attacking minions, and this lane will be a breeze with the free poke. The great thing about Xerath is he scales really well with damage, so abuse this to your advantage. Just don't forget to buy pink wards throughout the game since you are still support at the end of the day. Look to pick Zilean to outrange Lux and catch her in the later stages of the game. You have the abilities to outrun her snare and ultimate to save anybody if they're getting bursted. If Lux ever disrespects you, land a double bomb and profit since she has no dashes to escape. Look to build Relic Shield, Roots of Swiftness, Hextech GLP, Twin Shadows, Shurelya's Reverie, and Pink Wards. Once you reach your item Power Spike, you can use the actives to slow the enemy team and easily land double bombs, setting up for advantageous teamfights. Don't be afraid to spam these items since you are running Ingenious Hunter, which will lower the cooldown significantly, so abuse this fact to catch unsuspecting enemies that are running around. That concludes our latest episode of Counterpicks in 10.17. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to join our Discord below where we do tons of coaching giveaways and community events. Lastly, don't forget to visit our website at ProGuides.com where you can receive coaching from pro players, watch live classes, and improve with courses from pro players. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you very much for watching and good luck on the Rift.